Bullied, mocked, and mercilessly trolled. Today we're going to be talking about someone in the public eye. He's a really big YouTube influencer. His focus is on sort of like football.
Lucy righty tighty.
How does that in any way correlate to this?
He actually played for a team called #United, who compete in a non-league team that's in the same division as my local team. He's been suffering from severe hair loss from a really young age. And the amount of bullying is really quite astonishing.
Yeah, he's about to go to war. Unless it's in Turkey and he can get a hair transplant while he's there.
Especially from like his friends and acquaintances, people that he works with.
3-1 PSG. I'm going bold.
Clearly.
I think
That's in the public space, particularly on YouTube.
You petulant child!
Did your hair get in your eyes?
To be honest, I'm all for a bit of banter, but this has gone way too far and it seems to have happened consistently. And it's clearly bothered him quite a lot because he actually ended up getting a hair transplant. We're going to look at that later in this video because it really didn't work out for him. But I'm imagining these people, they saw a vulnerability in him, they saw a insecurity about his hairline, and they just played on it just to get a cheap laugh and to put him down. You may have your personal opinions on that, but it's something I personally don't agree with. I'm a hair loss sufferer myself and I actually took positive action to find a solution, and I can't help, based on what we're going to cover in this video, I can't help but think maybe this Theo Baker guy might have been better off with a hair system. So here is him actually getting the hair transplant. Why did he get this hair transplant? That's a good question, and we don't know the exact reasons for it, but I think there's probably a mixture in there of being in the public eye, getting critiqued online about his hair, also, as we discussed earlier, getting mocked by like his friends, his acquaintances, and that kind of thing. That's really going to bring you down, and it sounds as if he got a free offer to get a hair transplant, worth something in the region of about £8,000. Now, looking at this hair transplant, personally, to me, I don't really know why they focused on the front of the scalp. That makes no sense because he was clearly thinning throughout the rest of the top of his head. He was suffering from pretty significant male pattern baldness. Now, another question I'm asking myself is he even a suitable candidate for a hair transplant? You can see that his hair around the sides is really, really thin, and we can particularly see this like 6 months down the road. He did another video, which you can see here. His hair on the side is just quite thin. That's where you get donor hair from to actually build a hair transplant on top. Now, I'm no expert, but there's not enough donor hair there to get a good result. So whatever clinic he went to, and I don't know which clinic he went to, whichever one it was, they probably shouldn't have been recommending a hair transplant for him. However, there's a decent chance that they probably saw a really appealing promotional opportunity where they could get a famous guy in, do a hair transplant for him for free, and then they run off the coattails of that, they get all the praise, and loads of other people actually go and see this clinic. The problem is it's backfired because, with all due respect to Theo Baker, this is not a good hair transplant. This is not a good result. And we can even see after the hair transplant, he's still getting trolled by people.
How's the hair transplant been? See some little whispers there.
So it's been 1 minute and you've tried to roast me twice. Is that? I'll have you know, actually.
How long ago did you get it?
About 3 years ago. And I'll have you know that.
And then he did this podcast about 2 years post-transplant, and you can still see on top it looks really wispy. It actually looks like the earlier days of when he was actually making YouTube content first out.
Yeah. Obviously, you never know, like male pattern baldness, you never know when it'll return or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Like, right now, mine's a bit worse, but it will get better. Like, it goes through stages like this.
Does it?
It doesn't look like he's had a hair transplant. I don't know whether he's taking finasteride or not to stem the flow of further hair loss happening. I don't know about that, but this does not look very good. He also says he might have to go back for another one. This is so common with hair transplants. Every 5 years or so, you may well have to go back and get more hair harvested from the back of your head. We know he's got poor donor hair. He will run out of that after a while. So it's possibly no surprise this is not working out for him. He doesn't really seem to understand too much about the whole process of hair transplants either, which is surprising given this is 2 years post-transplant. You would have thought he'd have a little bit more of an understanding about the science behind it. You know, do you need to take medication ongoing? Does more hair need to be harvested from the back? Are you even suitable to have more hair harvested from the back of your scalp? Now, in summary, there's a couple of points I really want to touch on here. Firstly, the level of trolling, and I'd say bullying that he's received around this is not okay. It wasn't his choice to lose his hair. It's not his fault, and no one should be mocked. It ruins guys' self-esteem and it really lowers their confidence. On the flip side, it may actually encourage people to take some sort of positive action. In Theo's case, he decided to get a hair transplant. I don't think it's the right option for him. I've shown enough evidence of that. I just don't think he's a suitable candidate for a hair transplant. I actually think that there's two other things which he'd probably be more suitable for. The first, I showed a clip earlier of him actually with a shaved head, and I think he actually looked quite good with a shaved head. His ears are quite close to his head, which seems to sort of work quite well. His face is sort of quite slim and dynamic, so I actually think the bald look could work really well with him. Alternatively, there is the hair system option. He would need to go for a thinner base, 100%, just because his hair has always been quite thin and fine anyway. There are options out there, Swiss lace, ultra thin skins, that would give him a sort of more natural and organic appearance. I'd be more than happy to speak to him about it. I'd love to get him on here and discuss hair systems because I think it actually looked better on him than what he's currently got. And the other point I wanted to make in this video, and this is building off a couple of videos I've made over the last few weeks about hair transplants. They're not the be all and end all. They're not the answer for everyone. And I've shown enough instances of where it just really doesn't work out. And this is just the latest of many where a lot of the time it just doesn't give you that desired look. Quite often they'll want you to go back. Quite often if you go back, you're still not guaranteed good results. And then you've got even less donor hair to work with down the line. So as always, guys, please just do your research. If you're thinking of you've got hair loss, you're thinking of taking some positive action, please do your research, find out, work out what is most suitable for you. I chose the hair system route and I'm wearing a European hair Swiss lace base at the moment. It's called the Adrian. If you're interested in getting one of these and you want 15% off, there's a link popping up on the screen, top left of the screen right now, which you can check out with a lovely 15% coupon code. Now guys, if you've experienced hair loss and you started when you were pretty young, did you experience trolling like this? Did you experience mocking, bullying of what this poor guy has been through? Did you find it lowered your self-confidence? Did you find it actually motivated you to actually take some action on your path to getting hair back on your head? A little brief anecdote from me. When I was younger, I have trichotillomania, a hair pulling condition. I used to have massive patches of baldness on my head and it looked really weird. And I used to get mocked mercilessly by my schoolmates when I was in primary school. It was really quite horrific. And that stuck with me. And although it lowered my self-esteem, it really lowered my confidence. It lowered my belief that I could chat to girls and get a girlfriend. However, when I got to a certain age, I started looking for solutions. And I'm so glad that I came across the solution that I did. I've been a hair system wearer for 6 years and I haven't looked back since. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you found it interesting. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content and I'll speak to you soon.